What's up, peeps? Back with some more Elden Ring. Hope you're doing well and all that. But we're just gonna go straight to it with the first boss of the video, the full-grown Falling Star Beast. And this boss has really made me experience a new level of pain because I have felt pain in my life. Alright, at one point, one of my nuts was like bigger than a golf ball. That shit had swelled up so badly that it felt like I had weights just dangling down there. Not to mention every time anything ever touched it, it was like a pain that shot up all the way to my kidney. The worst thing ever. But the full-grown Falling Star Beast has taken that pain and shot to new levels because this is like the physical build counter. Alright, I'm just running a strength build with a colossal sword, and eventually these executioner's great axe dual wield because I thought they looked cool, and I just needed to do something else because I spent so long on this boss with the colossal sword that it was just like something's gotta give. Like I gotta change my mindset, I gotta change weapons because I'm going to end everything. So we're just gonna go to like dual wielding these great axes and started to do jump attacks because that seems like kind of the way with this shit because it has a lot less lag than like using a giant two-handed sword. That just doesn't seem like it's the meta at all in this game. Seems pretty bad. So jump attacks from now on, I suppose. And that's how I had to get it done because this boss really combines like a big health pool for this early in the game. I'm like level 45, I think. I was around there. And this dude has like over 10k health. It has crazy defenses. Even to like elements and magic, it's still pretty high, but like physical was even worse. I mean, I'm doing no damage to this motherfucker. It is a slog, and because it's like I'm level 45, it can also like two-shot me with pretty much any move and also one-shot me at points. It's a crazy fight, and I think the arena is kind of whatever. I fell off maybe twice, so not a big problem there. Sometimes it does make you play cautious, which can be a bit of a pain. You know, you don't want to fight them near the edge, so you just have to wait. Can't really punish then, but I didn't really care about that, and the whole crater, it saves and hurts, all right? Sometimes I would miss an attack because of the stupid ass crater, and sometimes, you know, the Falling Star Beast would miss. So, you know, I don't really hate on that. I just hate the entire boss itself because of all the pain it caused me, all right? I would rather take a butter knife and cut off the tip of my dick than fight this bitch ever again unless I'm level 3000. It was honestly just that bad of a fight for me because, Jesus, it took so long. God forbid I even considered summoning, but hey, I hold true to me and I refuse to use a summon because I don't want to beat the game using it in easy mode, so fuck that. The next boss of the video is going to be the Red Wolf of the Champion, and honestly this is one of the worst bosses of the entire game because it is absolutely a reskin of the Red Wolf of Radagon. Like there is nothing different. It's kind of crazy that they even did this, dog. FromSoftware is creatively bankrupt after this, alright? I'm never buying a single game ever again. But jokes aside, it is just kind of crazy that they went with this. Like you go through this cool dungeon that's like a burial site of something and you just get an actual copy and pasted fight that is just so bad. Like it doesn't even make sense to me because like the Red Wolf of Radagon was like in this magic place too, so it was like, okay, it got taught magic and it's the teacher now, but now it's just like the same thing but in a grave site. Just makes no sense. I mean, I guess it's probably Gelimir's since it's his grave site, but I just don't understand how you could make something just like this lazy. You couldn't even name it like the Purple Wolf of the Champion, you know, giving it a new color or something. Like, come on, bruh. Even if its cock was dangling in between its leg, I give it some credit for trying something new, but no. Honestly, don't even fucking bother fighting this dude because it's a waste of time. You get like a summon or an incantation or something, which, I mean, if you really need to play the game in an easier way, sure, take it, but it's honestly a skip. And following down like a lack of creativity, we go to the next boss, the Tree Sentinels, which is a duo Tree Sentinel fight, which, I mean, saying that is kind of a lie because it's not even really a duo fight. Basically, the one on the left with the shield, which is the main Tree Sentinel, it just walks away. And so you're just fighting the other one, which guess what? This one doesn't have a shield, but guess what it carries in its other hand? Like, oh, you might be thinking, what, like a Tree Sentinel sword? Maybe a tree branch? Anything, right? No. It has its halberd in one hand and a fucking torch in the other. Like, this isn't Minecraft. Why do you have a torch in your other hand? That's the only other weapon you could have brought? Come on, bro. You could have had like a bow and arrow and it could have been more like a Loretta fight where that's probably like the most unique horse fight. This one is just goofy as fuck. The only thing I really get out of this fight is like getting to beat the shit out of the Tree Sentinel because like, goddamn, I am still pissed about how like brutal that first fight was because like you're coming in there completely new to the game and you fight the Tree Sentinel first. It is a pain in the ass, but like now this fight's just so trivialized because I'm pretty strong, so it doesn't, you know, we're on even ground, so the Tree Sentinel's not very hard. hard. It's always been like an easy fight itself. It just takes a long time, so there's a lot of chances for you to get the shit beat out of you. But in this, I'm fucking juicing. I'm beating the shit out of him so fast, he doesn't even have time to play. And I just enjoyed it so much, even as much as I enjoyed killing Patches and his entire family for what he's done to me over these FromSoftware games. And then yeah, once you beat the first one with the torch, so goofy, you go down and just beat the other one with the shield. That is just the regular tree sentinel fight. You know, it is a duo boss, and I do respect duo bosses, but it's just not really a duo boss. I much would have rather have played these in like a big arena and have it be like the Dark Souls 3 formula, where you have one that's kind of being aggressive and pushing up, probably the one with the shield since it can kind of tank, and then you have the one with the torch or a bow playing in the back, and basically you're fighting the one with the shield while the one in the back is shooting its bow, but also sometimes pushes up to attack you. I think that'd be way better, but instead it's on stairs, so you have like very little room to actually move around and fight two of them, and it's also like a slope, so it's just kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know, I think it's worth doing because you do get some of their shit from it. Like, you already got the weapon, but I think you get some armor and whatnot, and you know, that's alright, I guess. It's cool to do just because it is like the first boss you can fight, and if you're not a pussy, the first boss you did fight. So, you know, do it to relive that memory, but the tree sentinel fight is essentially just another failure Elden Ring duo boss. It just does not work in Elden Ring because they're just not like made to work, and I'll kind of talk about that as we go through some more of them. The next boss of the video is going to be the Draconic Tree Sentinel, and I actually like the Draconic Tree Sentinel more than the original Tree Sentinel. It doesn't have that kind of gold swag. It has more of a moldy, rusted swag, which, you know, kind of homeless drip, but whatever. It don't need the swag because it gets its fucking swag from beating the ever-living shit out of you, alright? The Draconic Tree Sentinel is juicing up. It takes that red steroid lightning power and just goes to town. I mean, the first phase itself is already pretty difficult. It's something of a glass cannon, not as much as like the Red Wolf, but it does a lot of damage and really doesn't take a lot. And so in the first phase, you get these very heavy attacks that do good damage and also have some AoE. And it also still does some of the like tree sentinel part, except the horse itself now shoots fucking fire, which is pretty lit if you ask me. And then you go to the second phase and it gets infused with this red lightning power that just makes this shit way stronger, alright? The AoE gets even bigger and more damaging, the attacks even fucking more powerful, and now it can even summon these like magical power of the shield that makes it so there's a bunch of lightning all the way through the area, which also just does way too much damage. You wouldn't even think it does half your health, but it does more than half your health. It's crazy. I think it's a really cool fight and a great way to spice up like a tree sentinel horse formula. You know, the horse shooting fire, the weapon being infused with like magic so that it's not just like a physical attack like the tree sentinel. I really think it's cool, and even though it is a reskin, I'd say this one's way better, so it's definitely worth having in the game. And even being something of a, it's kind of a half optional boss. You can go through Thea's Champions or you can go through Thea's Tree Sentinel, and I'm sure more people go through the Draconic Tree Sentinel than Thea's Champions because getting there is a lot harder than getting here. You kind of just don't even realize how to get to the Thea's Champions area. Enough of all that though, we'll kind of get to that when we get there, so we're just going to move on to the next boss of the video, which is the final one, the Black Blade Kindred. And ooh-wee, this is a good fight. I really like the design of like having the sword and then having the axe as different playstyles completely. I mean, it does lose some points because the boss is black, so kind of an L, but the design carries so well because you first start off, he's just fighting with like a sword, and it's very combo attacks, kind of fast paced, and so it is kind of harder, and he even does that like down slash that then shoots a bunch of magic, but I mean, that's very easy to learn and kind of dodge. You don't even really need to roll. I just kind of roll out of habit. And so you fight through the sword, and then when you do like enough damage or after a certain amount of time passes, it brings out the halberd, and that is like the massive damage one. So it's really long windups, it's like jump attacks, shit like that, and it will slam down and it should almost kill you. Especially if you teleported here and didn't go through all through Caelid, because like if you don't go through Caelid, you're gonna be pretty under leveled teleporting here. So like that move pretty much one shots me. It would leave like a sliver of health, which means I gotta run away and drink 2 flasks, so that's kind of funny. But like that's kind of the design makes it very interesting, because I don't even think like the halberd fucked me up too much on my win, but every time I lost, it would be the thing that kills me. It would just fucking one-shot me. And so like just fighting your way through the swords, not really getting as much damage, but then surviving through the halberd and getting a lot of damage is a cool little thing they did with the boss. And I just think the design is cool. It's like a giant warrior with these wings that, you know, don't really look like they work, but I mean, he flies, so they work. And just having like 2 different weapons. It's a pretty basic fight. I don't even think there's a lot of attacks. Like if it just used one of the weapons, it really wouldn't do anything, but having 2 weapons does make it have a bit of variety. And looking at the wiki, it does look like it resists like every single build-up trigger, so you might struggle with it even more if you're doing that, but you know, I was using physical and it doesn't really resist physical too much, so I had something of a blast going against it. You know, not one of the best bosses ever because it's something of an optional fight and really doesn't really have like a lot of swag, but I think it's a very cool fight in the sense of its mechanics and actual fight style, so I would definitely put it pretty high up. But that's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate you, anyone still watching. Let me know what you think of the bosses in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.